sabrosura pa' ti que.
Hello, everyone. This is Bum, the Café con Bum, the bilingual podcast that features Latine and people of the global majority who break barriers, change lives, and make the world a better place. Welcome to episode 363 of Café con Bum. Today, we have a conversation with Ciera Rogers. Ciera is known for being an outsider, and she likes it that way. As the founder and CEO of a multimillion-dollar brand that caters to curvy women, she carved her own path as the founder and fashion entrepreneur, becoming a beacon of body positivity and a symbol of a non-linear career path. Her story is not just about success, but about creating a space for herself and others who often find themselves on the outside of our society's norms. Listeners, this conversation with Ciera was actually a lot of fun because we explored various parts of her story, and at the same time, we also discussed various things that may affect us in some way. And how could we overcome them? How could we use being on the outside of the expectations to our advantage? So I won't delay this interview anymore. Here's my conversation with Ciera Rogers. Ciera, welcome to Café con Bum.
Thank you.
How are you? Where are you tuning in from today?
I'm in Los Angeles.
So you're not traveling? You're home?
I'm home, yeah.
Or
Well, home was originally Houston, but I guess now I can call home LA. It feels, weird, but both are homes.
Both are homes. So the first question that I always ask is, what is your heritage?
I'm Creole, Black. I'm Black.
And you grew up in Houston?
I was born in Port Arthur. It's a small town outside of Houston. And then we moved to Houston when I was like 8 or something.
And you grew up with a single mom?
Yep. My mom and my sister. It was just us trucking along.
So you recently wrote a book, The Outsider Advantage. And frankly, you share a lot there. So I don't want to spoil it with all the stories you share. I'll ask from there because you share, literally, we get to know you in very deep levels. And I love the storytelling of it.
Thank you.
Because we get to, I'm imagining, your middle school friends and how their clothes are pressed and
they had it all together.
Yes, for sure. So we're going to dive a little bit into your story. How was it for you to grow up with a single mom and also coming from a place where things were not, we could say, quote, handed to you?
It was, children adapt is what I always say. So in the moment, I felt like, that was my norm. I'm not used to having a dad or
yes,
a stable home or anything like that. You don't really know how different you are until you start school.
Yes.
And I think when I started school, I was like, oh, wait, you guys have a dad and a room and Christmases and you don't live in your car and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I guess that's how it works, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely my mom hustled a lot. So I'm used to seeing her kind of just make things work, but she never was she never showed us her stress. I'm sure she was stressed. But she always made us feel we're okay. We're together. Tonight we're sleeping in a car, but we're safe. You know what I mean? She was really good at making us feel safe.
For sure. And I also grew up with a single mom. So do you agree that, to your point of children adapt, something that when I think about it, you don't know what you don't know. And so
right.
Until, like you said, one thing that happened to me, for example, was Father's Day. That's actually coming up.
I know. I ignore it. No.
Yeah. It's wait, do you have both your parents? What?
That's cool.
It was kind of yeah. But it wasn't so much of a yearning in the moment until, for me, when I grew up.
Yeah. You're this is nice. Life would have probably been a little different for me. My relationships with men.
Right.
Everything. Now, my father was kind of a lunatic, so I'm glad he's gone. So I don't think that, I think in my case, it's best that he stayed away, but it would have been nice to have a stable father figure, but that's just not what I had. And I'm glad that he's gone.
Have you talked to your mom and your sister about those experiences and now looking back like, oh, we were actually like kind of like not in a quote traditional.
Yeah, my sister in the moment, she was like, this is shitty. I'm sorry to curse, but this is, each kid is different.
Totally.
I'm a daydreamer. So I was like, oh, I'm somewhere else. I still do that now. Like I can sit and be completely like somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a kid, I was like, oh, this is fine. Like I'm fine. My sister is more aware of her surroundings. So she's like, this is not fine.
Who's older?
I'm older.
Okay.
Yeah, we're only a year and 3 months apart, but we look at our childhood very differently. I'm like, oh, it's fine. And she's like, actually, you don't remember this, that, or the other because you blanked out.
Yes.
I think I blocked a lot of stuff out in my childhood that she didn't. So yeah, it's interesting hearing her perspective versus mine.
It's fascinating to talk to your siblings about specific things because my sister's like your sister, because we create different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And totally, my sister remembers something that I'm like, no, that's not how it happened.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that how it happened? But it's also like what I've learned writing the book is like, oh, maybe I was like a trauma response. I just kind of like, yeah. So that's how I dealt with it. I'm uncomfortable, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Because she explained things that aren't even booked that I just wasn't comfortable with putting in the book. She explained situation. I'm like, wow, like I felt like your body can feel something happened, but sometimes your mind doesn't remember, if that makes 100%.
Sense. Totally. I'm an EFT practitioner, so I do tapping. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool where we use our nervous system and meridian points. If you've heard of acupuncture, we use the points in the body. And through my training, trauma is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something called trauma capsules that we create in our brain that literally it's like a space of what we present self thinks of blanks. Like, no, I don't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
It exists in the brain. It's just encapsulated so to keep us safe. So 100% it's a trauma response.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was watching this show. It's called The Crowded Room. I don't know. A lot of people haven't watched it, but it's about the guy who plays Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, but his trauma response is developing different personalities.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's like, this person went through it. I didn't go through it. He had like a multiple personality syndrome. And I guess that's where it comes from. So trauma. Yeah. It's a tough thing. You either block it out, you experience it, or you may, develop another personality to experience it. But it happened.
Wow. That's fascinating. Because there's also with the work that I do inner child work. And so I could see that like different parts of your your different ages of you experience different things and they might have a different personality.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And that's something that you talk about is trauma and using your trauma
as a motivator.
Tell me more about it.
That's the tool. That's what I want you to learn. But while you're in it, it sucks. You know what I mean? So you're not thinking like, I'm going to use this as a motivator. I'm going to use all of these as skills and tools to become successful. I think when you're out of it, you understand like now I'm like, oh, I have all these trigger responses because of my trauma. It's kind of like a reflex. So that's how, my trauma is rooted in being poor or poverty. So that's why I'm such a good hard worker. And that's why I have built this sustainable business because of my trauma of not wanting to go back.
For sure. So you found yourself in LA.
Yeah.
Why LA?
My sister moved out here. So
First?
Yep. I went to college. My sister went to college for 1 year and she was like, I don't like this. But I went to college. I graduated. So I thought, everything would be fine after that. I would get a job and, life would start. That's not what happened. I couldn't find a job. I don't know if I'm a terrible interviewee or something, but I just no one hired me. But my sister is more like a risk taker and she moved to LA. So after she moved to LA, I followed her here to see if it would work out for me here. And it didn't the first year, but we're here now.
And it didn't. And you had to use your resources.
Yeah. My resources at the time were just thrifted clothes. Because we thrifted like our entire lives just because we couldn't afford. Like I used to have to get my uniforms from like Goodwill and thrift stores. My mom, like whenever she was a stylist, she would use thrifted clothes to style. So that's just what I had. So when I got out here, that's literally like all I own. So I started selling those clothes, and that's how the brand started.
But it didn't just take off. It took a minute. So you almost got like evicted from your roommate.
Yeah, I was on a couch. I was on a lovely couch, which was interesting because I was like, dang, like I did all the right steps. I'm the one that went to college. I made all the good grades. Like, why am I on the couch? My sister was actually doing well in LA and she didn't do all of those steps. She's more like, I don't feel like finishing this or finishing that. I'm going to try this or try that. So it was more like a little envy, like, dang, like I did everything and I'm the one on the couch. So yeah, after a while I was about to get evicted and I'm like, no, I'm not going back to be homeless. So I had to figure something out.
And so you literally started doing what you knew how to do. You posted a picture on Instagram. But tell me about the 2 lists that you made. How did that come about?
I think it's important to know what you're passionate about, but also what you're good at. Because a lot of people are passionate about things they're not good at. And there are a lot of people that are good at things they're not passionate about. Like they're in workspaces where they're just like dang, like I've always known how to do this, but I lack passion. Like I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm like, if I'm good at something, I become passionate about it, but that doesn't resonate with everyone. So I had to make a list. And what I was good at was clothes. So I'm like obsessed with women's bodies, sizing women and making things look good on women. And I'm also passionate about it. So that worked for me.
And you started with yourself. So it literally, you were styling yourself and then you started posting and then started selling the things that you were thrifting.
Yeah, I basically found a problem and fixed it. I mean, that's how you create a business. I mean, that's how you create all businesses, but that's how you create really successful ones is find a problem and fix it. It helps if it's your own problem.
Right.
So my own problem was I couldn't find affordable clothing online, especially when the e-commerce was picking up for curves. Like I could just put it on and not have to tailor because obviously I can't afford a tailor or anything like that. So I found a problem and I found an open space in the market and I grabbed it.
So in the book, you talk about the gremlin in your head. And I wonder how loud was it then and how loud is it now?
I think in the beginning, there wasn't much of a gremlin because I was building something and I didn't have anything to attack myself about yet. And you're kind of in like fight or flight mode. Like I had to make something work. I don't have time to like doubt. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're like, okay, we got to get this done. But now that I've built something and I have a following and there's expectations, the gremlin has gotten bigger because I have something to lose. So yeah, it's interesting.
That's fascinating because personally, to me, and like obviously I don't have the huge success that you have, so I wonder if it's going to get louder.
It will.
So in the beginning, it was like one thought that came to me was like, who are you to believe that you have authority to talk about XYZ? That didn't happen to
you? No, because I'm selling clothes. Your industry is different.
Yeah.
You're at a mic and I'm looking at you to teach me something. Like there's a sense of authority that goes there. So yeah, I'm doing something visual right now. I hadn't built the community yet where I had like something to stand on. Like I'm an entrepreneur and I'm successful and let me teach you how to. I wasn't there yet. So no, not for me in the beginning. But now,
but now you have it. How long did it take you for you to believe that you were like to own that entrepreneur title?
Success, money, those things work for me. Like it's not like compliments don't work for me. Success, actual numbers. Because then once I see the numbers, I'm like, you know what? You can't tell me anything. Like I built this from nothing with no investors, no help. No one held my hand along the way. That gave me the confidence to be like, all right, I know what I'm doing. Proven results.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
How was it for you to ask for help? Because that's the other thing that you talk about is it's tapping onto your network, but when you don't have one,
Right. It's tough because then it's like you can get the no, you can get ignored. It's risky now. So I had to learn how to use people. If I have a chapter called
yes,
called It's Okay to Use People, because moving out here is that's what I learned. Like it's about connections. It's about what can I get? And it's not even like a negative like thing. It's like, all right, give, get. You know what I mean? Like that's how it was in the olden days. People exchanged resources. You have eggs, I'll give you bacon. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
it's an interesting place to be in when you're asking for the help because it's vulnerable because now the person knows you need my
a
help.
little bit more. Yeah. So how do you overcome that?
Um, for me, it needs to be equally beneficial. So like if I were to ask you for something, I know that I can give you something in return.
You
That's
come
just
in
my
with your offer.
I come in with like, hey, like I can't do this, but I can do this. Like, can we exchange? Or I do small asks, something that if you said no to it, you would just be like an a-hole.
As your hat says.
You know what I mean? Like either small ask or I can, it's something equally beneficial, or I've done something for you in the past. It just has to make sense for me. Not to say that you shouldn't be able to lean on people that love you, but when it comes to strangers, what makes me more comfortable is if I could give something back.
And on that token of now your network, did you have any mentors besides your mom?
No, not really. It's interesting. It's interesting you asked that because someone just asked me that yesterday. I think it would have been nice if I had a mentor, but also not having one forced me to be really creative. You know what I mean? And that's why I think not having someone hold your hand, not that that's what a mentor is. I don't know. I've never had one, but
I mean, your mom was your, you always talk about your
yeah.
mom.
No, my mom is like my inspiration, but she wasn't like, Ciera, this is how you set up an online store because I've done it before. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I had to kind of figure things out for myself, but while I was figuring it out, I was forced to be creative and come up with other ideas. So for me, it benefited me. I think, I hope. I mean, obviously, yeah.
Hmm. So do you think you've had maybe indirect mentors, like people that you looked up to? Like maybe not you'd sit down and have a one-on-one, but
I'm inspired by everybody. Like I'm an internet girl. I'm always on the internet. I'm always looking at like other brands, what other people are doing. Like even like all the podcasts I've been on, like the way that you guys have built your audience. I don't know how it's done. But like I'd like to learn. I think everyone can be my mentor. I mean, I'm forcing it because I'm like, I stalk people online. I'm like, how did you come up with that? And when did you start? So I guess I have those type of indirect accidental mentors.
yeah, especially for people like us that don't necessarily have can tap onto like, hey, uncle, you've built this
Uh-huh.
like,
Hey.
we have the
Hmm.
internet.
Yeah, the internet. You can stalk anybody and find out. I mean, not, not in real life, hopefully, just on the internet.
Right, right,
You know
right,
what I
right.
mean? Like if you don't have the resources or the network, build your own, whether it be like other small entrepreneurs, because we all need help. Like no matter what, I can run into any small entrepreneur. They're gonna like need assistance with something because it's hard, like we all need assistance. So yeah.
What about copycats? Something also that you mentioned. Oh,
Um, copycatting is bad. No.
it is. So do you see it as like because I've heard you talk about, people tapping onto you and like, hey, can we talk about like can we go for coffee? And then all
Then
of a
it
sudden
ends
it's
up
like, let me
being
just like
like
suck everything out of you.
and not give me anything back.
Right.
So that happened a lot when I was in LA when I first got here because I was so excited and I never had anything before, so I just wanted to share. You know what I mean? I didn't know the ins and outs of keeping like a little bit of gatekeeping and a little bit of like, hey, like, who is this person? Like, what can they do for me? I wasn't in that. I'm like, yay, I have a business and I'm making money finally. And I just want everyone to make money too. But in that, I was creating my own competition. I didn't even know.
Yes. So how did you handle it?
Um, at first I got angry because after I saw the first few brands, I was like, why would you do that? Because I always feel like people have the best intentions and sometimes they don't. Because
Uh-huh.
I have the best intentions. So I'm like, why would you? Like, why would you do that? Like, that's mean. Why would you do that? So I learned, people can be mean and copycat you. So I got angry and I started withholding information. So the next person that asked me, I'm like, no, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't want to talk about it. But that like guard up isn't going to help anyone. Isn't It's also going to like keep me angry and like why not teach other people how to build like other people like me how to build something big. So I had to find like a median. Like instead of saying no, just figuring out like giving enough information to help them, not every trade secret in the entire world, but helping push people farther along because it's important.
Yeah, that's happened to me. I've been podcasting since 2016, and so there's a lot of
Oh,
like,
you're before the COVID podcast.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this is
You've been
before
doing this.
podcasting was cool.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. So you know what you're doing. Okay.
Yes. And so I've had also a lot of people like, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, can we have coffee? I'm like,
Mm.
same. I've gotten much more guarded around it. And
Mm.
I even created like a pick my brain like
Mm.
item. Like pay for it. If you want to pick my brain,
I love
happy to do
that.
it. Give me some money in exchange. Because
Yeah.
my knowledge, like all the years of knowledge, didn't come free
Yep.
because it takes time, it takes resources, it takes like me asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the biggest ones that happened to me was when I helped someone build their podcast. And then I've asked for resource, like that person has access to other things that I don't. And I'm like, hey, you have this. Like, could I get an intro?
Mm-hmm.
Could I blah, blah, blah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Zero.
That guards you. And
Yeah.
that's messed up.
So messed up.
That's really messed up. Yeah.
How long did it take you to go from very giving to getting angry to finding that happy medium?
I went from very giving. The minute I saw the brand, I closed up immediately. Because she was quick with it. It was like a couple weeks later after our
Wow.
conversation. And I'm like, oh, wow. First of all, not everyone's nice. I guess. Like,
Right.
so I became guarded right away. But I think maybe like 6 months of just being guarded, and then I just came out of it because I helped my sister start a brand. I helped two of my friends start a brand, and it's like you're building a community, and people that look like you need help. You know what I mean? She wasn't like the best example of a person, but not everyone's like that. So, but I love to pick my brain. I mean, you should be getting paid for your knowledge anyway. And I sometimes feel like our own people approach us like it needs to be free, but
Right. Because we're the
they would
same.
pay like a white guy. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pay him,
Exactly.
but I'm not gonna pay anyone that looks like me or like feels too relatable to like give me knowledge. And that's not fair. Like you should get the same treatment as everyone else.
I agree. And I think that's in a way internalized. I don't know if I want to call it. Like it's not necessarily related to it, but it's like authority.
It's exactly what you didn't say. Mm-hmm.
Because we see a certain person as the like
The higher,
authority.
it's something we as minorities and as women too need to get over because there is like once a white guy gets up there, then now it's like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna like it is a sense of authority, but it's the world. It's like we've been brainwashed for so long. We gotta unbrainwash ourselves, really.
We
Mm-hmm.
do. And frankly, I think this is for the listeners. Like if you think about the white guy that you're looking up to that's selling you the $5,000 call,
Yeah.
you don't know what resources he was handed to, like even if
Handed,
they say
literate. I'm saying,
literally.
yeah, you want someone who built that from the ground up
Right.
that didn't have, like has grit, and it's like, dang, like how did you want a hustler? Because yeah, if it was handed to you, then why am I listening to you? All you're gonna do is give me advice based off of, like I watch people like designers give designer advice, like, oh, just like use your friends, but your friend is Kanye.
Right.
My friend isn't Kanye. You know what I mean? Like you are speaking from an insider like perspective, and I can't even hear you because your advice, I can't take it.
It doesn't work the same. And so that's why I love thinking like horizontal connections.
Hmm. Yes.
And to your earlier point, always think about how could you pass it back.
We need to build everyone up, but especially your own communities because it's like it's really important for people to see people that look like you doing and coming out of something. Because while that you're in it, it sucks. But looking at someone come out of it's really inspirational. No, yeah.
Totally. So, okay, let's take a quick coffee break.
Okay.
So, Ciera, do you drink coffee? We were talking about caffeine earlier.
I'm a matcha girl.
Matcha?
Yeah, I switched to decaf last year because my blood pressure was high. And I said, and then a doctor tried to put me on blood pressure meds, and I said, no, I'm okay. I'm just gonna lower my salt intake, lose like workout more, and I'll do less caffeine. So with that, I started to now matcha does have caffeine, but it's less caffeine. I know. I know.
I'm looking like,
no, it does have caffeine, but less caffeine because I was doing too much with the coffee. I was having like 3 coffees a day. Like, why? It was bad. I would start the morning with coffee and not water, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Water before coffee.
Water before coffee. I'm trying, and it makes a difference, actually.
I think coffee should be your reward after your water.
Ooh, in the morning. I love that. I love that. That's like a brainwashing.
Okay.
One of the things that's a great way to brainwash yourself. One of the things that I read in your book was when you like not having food and how like speaking, because we're in the coffee break, there's a part that you mentioned that only warm water could get you through the day because there was it was just warm water. It wasn't coffee.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm used to not, I don't know, like because we had a cooler. So at one point in between, like being we've lived in a bunch of different situations. So we had like my mom's friend had a warehouse and we were on one side of it. And my mom had instead of a refrigerator, we had a cooler. Sometimes the cooler had stuff in it and sometimes it didn't. So it's like, yeah, I get adapting. I don't know. Like if I didn't have to eat if I couldn't eat today, I'd be fine. Because I guess I'm so used to like the uncertainty of like my childhood that I'm just like, I don't know, nothing really phases me anymore.
For sure. So now you drink matcha.
I do a lot.
Do you make it or do you buy it?
I make it. Yeah, I make it and I buy it.
Nice.
I buy it for a treat because they're doing too much with these coffee prices. They're doing too much. Like, I'm like, what is going on? So I have matcha at home and I have the to-go cups at home because it makes it different. I need the straw in the to-go cups to make me feel like I'm on the go for some reason. I don't know why. It's another brainwashy thing. So yeah, I make it, but I'll buy it as like a treat.
Amazing. And it's just regular matcha. Do you add sugar or anything?
I add honey.
Nice. You know, and a
little something.
For sure. So on my end, I'm drinking mushroom coffee.
Oh, I love mushroom coffee.
Yeah, it helps with my ADHD, with my focus. You know, it's just super fun.
They also have a mushroom matcha thing that I want to try.
Ooh.
I'm going to do that. See, now you got me. I'm not going to finish this, and I'm going to go get that after this.
Get the mushroom matcha?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's get back to the show. So, Ciera, you talk about, I mean, the book is just so in-depth. One of my favorite things is the roadmap, actually.
Okay.
Because you get to kind of like also compare and contrast the traditional path that we've been sold.
Yes.
Versus what actually happens, especially to people like us.
Yeah. I mean, to most people, I don't know who has gone on the traditional. I haven't met them.
Right. I have met them.
Okay. And how are they?
I mean, they just live in a very entitled way, which is fascinating.
Okay.
I have a friend of mine, speaking of mentors, he kind of like adopted me. He's a rich white guy. And
lovely.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's fascinating to like once every quarter, sometimes every month, we just like meet and have like a beer. And literally it's like he gives me 1 hour of his time, tells me stories about like just nonchalant things, like because I'm like, hey, so what's new, you know? And he's like, oh, so I just did we just closed an acquisition and I got like 2 million. I'm trying to figure out what to do with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And
No
I'm
big
like,
deal.
my bank is open, if you just want to like
Could
drop
throw it
some
in
coins in
there.
there. But he's not giving like that, which not that I would want it, but it's just
We want
fascinating
it.
to I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. But it's just really interesting for me to like witness someone who lives in such ease in the world.
Yeah, it's nice to watch. It I don't even know if I find it motivating because it's
It's
like
not. I mean, it's not motivating like I would want to be like him, but it's motivating to see there's that level of success to achieve.
there's that money out there.
Yes.
That's the motivating. But the path, I'm like, I can't be motivated by it because I never had a chance at that path and I didn't have that path. So I can't base anything off of it.
It's not set up for us 100%.
No.
I
Mm-mm.
mean, even witnessing this man walking into the brewery, for example,
Mm-hmm.
like from those little instances, I'm like, oh shit, like I'm waiting for the person to come out. He's just walking through,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Just walking into a room. I just started noticing that. I don't know if because I'm a daydreamer, but because I live in like I work in Toluca Lake and it's very, everyone looks the same kind of. But when I
mm-hmm.
walk in, I'm in my daydreamy head, I'm just like moving, but then I'm like, wait, I'm always the only Black person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I have like a presence when I walk in that I don't even know. Like whether that presence be like, oh, she's nice looking, or oh, we don't ever see Black people, or like
Right.
whatever
She's
that is,
different.
like it stands out, but that's like an edge.
For sure.
That's what the book is really about. Is like it's not about it's like noticing like, you know what, I need to use this in some kind of way. Like I'm in a room with a bunch of people that look alike and I stand out for this very reason. And
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, I just noticed that. I noticed that this morning. I'm like, wait, I am the only Black person here.
I stand up, which I like that you brought that up because I think there's two perspectives in the world from people like us that didn't grow up with like the resources and the handouts.
Hmm.
One is the victimhood, like, oh, everything's against me, and
Yeah,
I don't
not
have the
helpful.
resources, and
Hmm.
and there's a lot of that commentary and a lot of those beliefs that kind of like keep
Hmm.
people down.
Yeah.
And then there's the outsider, like you, perspective
Hmm.
that is like, well, let me just own it.
The thing is, you don't have a choice. You look different already, or you just don't have the clothes, or you don't have the money. You can't make that change. So, are we going to add more to it by you being like, woe is me? Or are we going to
Mm-hmm.
actually like make some progress and be successful? I'd like you to choose the latter because we don't have time to waste. We already started 10 steps back in this race. Let's pick up the pace and let's use like our differentness to get us ahead.
And this is why you wrote the book.
Yeah, like let's please all do it.
Has your sister read the book?
My sister has read the book. Yes,
What were
she
her
was the person.
thoughts?
She was the person. Our different
Yes,
experiences.
that's why I'm curious about it.
She's like, you don't remember this or you don't remember that, and I'm like, no, I don't know, because a child's memory is different. Like we could make up things, or like even talking to my mom. My mom was like, actually, we were there for 2 days instead of 3 days, or like we were in this situation versus that situation. But yeah, it's each family member is different. Everyone's memory is different and trauma,
For
experiences.
sure. So for people like your sister, for example, who remembers all the things, they might just be
Hmm.
like, well, it's painful.
Yeah, like my sister's relationship with my father is completely different because my sister wanted him around. She
Mm.
went to go find him. I didn't, I was never like, go find, because after I heard about the story that's in the book, I was like, I don't want to meet this person. No, he sounds weird and I'm okay. But my sister yearned for a father. So she wanted him, but he didn't, when he came around, he didn't want her.
Oof,
Her relationship with everything is different in this book.
for sure. Tell us, because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Um,
We must do this again.
I know. Where can we find the book? Where can we find it more about you? I mean, I'm sure people already know about you, but like just drop all the places.
CieraRogers.com is like the easiest place because everything's there. The brand, the book. And then if you want to go to my Instagram, say, hey, Ciera Rogers.
Amazing. So what's next for you now that the book is, let's see, this comes out right before the book comes out.
Yeah, June
So,
18th.
uh-huh. So
Um,
listeners, get a pre-order.
yeah, get a pre-order
Pre-orders
or meet
work.
me at the bookstore. No, I'm not gonna be there every
Yeah.
month,
Are you doing a book
but
tour?
I'm doing a book. I'm starting here in LA and then I'm gonna go to Houston, but that's all I have planned for now. But I'm open to moving everywhere else after that. So yeah, what's next? I don't know. I think I'm so like because I'm so busy. Like I have babes. My mom is still like kind of sick. She's like in and out of the hospital. And then I also have the book. So I think right now everything's just happening and I can't think. So once I'm able to climb up, then I'll be able to make some new goals to accomplish.
Totally. So when it comes to your brand,
Hmm.
what was harder? Because this is something that for people that have built multi-million-dollar businesses,
Hmm.
I like to ask this question. Was it your first 1,000, your first 10,000, your first 100,000, or your first million?
1,000.
Yes.
Because I was trying to get off the couch and like build
And that
something.
was rent.
The 100 was like, it made me feel the best. Like saving it and not having to touch it, that made me feel like, okay, like I can keep moving. But the first 1,000, so hard.
Mm. So then you made your first 1,000, your first 10,000.
Yeah, I went from that. I had small goals, 1,000, 2,000, to 3,000. I don't, I like small goals because I just think that it's like more opportunities to celebrate yourself.
How do you make sure that the goals are achieved and not sabotage them? I feel like sometimes people sabotage their goals, especially people. Well, let me just give a
Mm-hmm.
little
Mm-hmm.
context, especially people talking about the relationship with money. People that haven't had it and then all of a sudden you do. I don't know if this happened to you to where you didn't quite feel adequate to hold it or
Mm.
manage it.
Hmm. No, I felt pretty adequate
Yay.
because I worked so hard, you know what I mean? Like, and I felt like I had been through so much. And when you don't have help, it's like you're like proving, you feel like you're proving people wrong, even though no one's like probably rooting against you.
Or even
That like,
yourself
you know what I mean? Or prove, yeah, it's just
or the
like
gremlin.
it's the gremlin. Because everyone around me was pretty supportive. I was just like, like I was talking to my sister the other day, life was just so hard. Like it's always something, like I'm like, why is it so hard for us? And it's easier for everyone else. Like that is one question I would have for the universe.
Mm,
So when I started like conquering those goals, I felt like, yeah, no, I wasn't sabotaging myself. I'm like, I'm doing this. Like I'm proud of myself. I'm succeeding. The numbers don't lie.
yes. What does money bring to you?
Security. I like security. I like knowing that if babes stopped today, I could survive a little bit.
Because you have that foundation.
I have a little foundation. I think it's important I feel safer with security because I lacked it so much growing up.
Hmm. If you were to start Babes again all over, what would you do different?
It'd be hard because the internet's so saturated. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be the face of it. So when I first came, I was different looking because I was showing my cellulite and it was like, oh wow, she's showing her dimples of her butt and this is crazy. That's not like impressive now. I'd have to find like a different face
A
or
bigger edge?
a different like angle if I were to be building it now. I don't know what that would be, but it wouldn't start on Instagram. It'd have to be TikTok or something else.
How have you dealt with criticism?
um I use it.
Mm.
My sister just texted me before that. She said, "Stop being so hard on yourself." She's like, "You overthink everything and you pay attention to everything." Like my
Do
sister,
you?
I do.
Huh?
Like I'm supposed to post this partnership video with Goodwill after this. I kind of want to send it to you to get your opinion. And
Yeah, do.
I've watched it like 30 times, and my sister's like, "No one is going to even watch it that many times. Like you are
Like to see
like."
the little tiny details.
You know what I mean? I just feel like, yeah, I overthink everything. I forgot the question. What was the question?
How do you deal with criticism?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
are you your
Mhm.
biggest critic?
Yeah.
Have you gotten like harsh criticism? Like, I wonder if in the beginning.
when I was showing myself, yeah, I've gotten harsh criticism, like ugly messages. I mean, I have a big following, so I've seen it all. Like attacks on anything I put vulnerable out there has been attacked. I just think that because I'm used to it, I'm like I have the armor for it. I'm ready for it. Or sometimes I feel like I should put my fist down because it's not coming. But I walk around like this a lot, and I need to work on that. It's fine.
The softness of it.
Hmm.
It's hard. I mean, especially when you've gone through some things and you're like, well, how would I know that you're not going to hurt me?
Protect yourself. But also like don't stress yourself out because sometimes people are there with good intentions, and if you have your fist up, you're gonna block yourself from your blessings.
Totally. And I'm so curious about your sister and you because you're so close in age and you have such different perspectives. And so this message that she just texted you,
Hmm.
does she overthink things?
Nope. She is like she puts it out there to see what is gonna stick. She's like, the more I put out there, numbers, right? Like if I put 100 things out there, something's gonna stick, and I don't care what any of you say. You know what I mean? Like it's fine.
Would you say that if you didn't overthink so much, you would be more successful?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things I don't put out in the world because I've doubted it so much. Even like this girl I met yesterday, she was like, "Yeah, I want to start a clothing line, but," and I'm like, "Girl, all these buts, you lost me with the buts.
Mm,
Put it out there, and it'll work or it won't work. And if it doesn't work, find out why it didn't work, and then do something else." So it definitely can hold you back a lot. I'm glad we're talking about this because I'm like experiencing it now. I'm like,
oh,
over, stop overthinking.
stop overthinking. So, do you want to do some quick rapid fires?
Okay, I'll do my best.
What is the biggest success you're celebrating still?
$1 million.
What is a lesson you're still learning?
The hard on yourself thing. Stop attacking myself. Well, because it's not helpful.
Mm.
Hmm.
Did you have an I made it moment?
I like the Lizzo moment when Lizzo posted and she
Posted,
said,
yeah.
and she did it organically, and she was like, "I just like this brand. This isn't paid." And I was like, "Oh, okay, Lizzo, that's nice."
That's a nice one.
That made me feel good.
For sure, for sure. What is something you've been putting off for months?
I have a long
All
list.
the things came.
Um, Months or years.
Ooh,
I started writing a script before the book,
for a movie?
a movie. I started writing a script, all-girl thriller back in 2019, and it's just been sitting on my computer.
Well, it's on tape now.
I
People
know.
are,
Once you put it out in the world, it's like, oh, now I
I
have to
guess
do
it
it.
has to come through
Yeah.
after the book.
Yeah.
But it's there. Okay,
Hmm.
listeners, we have to hold Ciera accountable.
Please.
What is love?
Um, what is love? Hmm. Wanting to me, because I guess I'm relating it to my relationship, like actually wanting the best for someone despite yourself.
Ooh, like selfless.
Yeah.
Joy or peace?
Peace,
Discipline or habits?
discipline.
They didn't think I could blank, but I did.
um, I don't know if anyone thought I don't have that. Like they didn't think I could thing. Um, I felt like I didn't think I could, maybe.
Ah, the gremlin.
The gremlin did. But other people, no, I think it's like, yeah, makes sense. She she a hustler. She was gonna do something.
Eventually. I mean, I love the stripper story, which, or like, read
Oh
the book.
yeah. I wasn't a stripper. I was okay, but yeah,
Yes,
you read it.
yes. I was like,
Okay.
wait a minute,
Someone
what?
was a stripper.
Somebody was like, somebody was,
Yeah.
yes, it's a great, I had to read it again because I'm like, wait, you did what?
It's a good idea.
Great idea.
When I go to a strip club, I think about it all the time. I'm like, this is what we should have been doing.
100%. I mean, it's like, it's a great story.
They're throwing
You
money on
have
the
to read the book.
floor. When you throw money on the floor, I'm like, you don't respect your money. I need to let's see how we can get a part of
We
this.
need to make it work better. And I think that's a great business model actually, because it's a very like I don't know. I feel like the way that I saw it when I read it, I was like, oh, this is a very much like woman empower woman type thing.
Like, let's work together.
Yeah, well done. What is a talk you can do without prep?
A talk I can do without prep. What do you mean? Like a
Like if you were to like speak in front of like high schoolers.
oh, um, hmm. Something business marketing. Like if you were to be like, I want to sell toilet tissue or something, I'd try to think of a like I feel like those things come off the whim
Mm-hmm.
versus the other things I have to think about.
Mm. Give me blank and I will blank.
Give me an open space in the market and I'll give you a business for
Yes.
it.
What are you willing to fail over and over?
Fell. Mm. Willing. Fell? Willing fell. That's a tough. What am I
That is a tough
willing
question.
to fail? What am I willing to fail over and over? Arguments, debates.
Mm.
Usually I'm like, what's your point? We love each other. What are you trying to get at? Because I'm like, you win.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
What are you creating right today?
Today, I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on my summer collection. It's like a dress right behind this computer. I wish I could turn it around.
Oh, fun. And your post. You need to
Oh
post.
yeah, I need to do that.
That's created. You just have to post it, right?
Yeah, but you know me, I overthink it. So I text my marketing manager and I said, I don't really like the pacing of it. And she says, Ciera, you're overthinking it. And I'm like, yeah. So
Probably.
my reflex was like, well, your face isn't on it, so you're not overthinking it enough. No, uh, that's what I'm going through
So
right
two
now.
things you're creating today. What is stopping you?
Time.
That's interesting because in the book, there's a chapter where you talk about time and using time when you don't have money.
I had it then.
Mm.
Now I have less of it. People take it away from you, apparently. Yeah, I had all the time and no money, so I used my time instead of money. Now I have the money and no time.
Wow. How could you create harmony? Is it possible?
Boundaries, not saying yes to everything. You can't do it all. I'm not an octopus. I only have two arms.
Yes. Yes. In one brain.
Yeah.
Totally. What is the future?
Hopefully I can do something. This is big, but I feel like I have something in me to do something like bigger. Like the more I look at the world, the more I feel so like I feel small and I feel like I haven't like not changed it, but I could be doing more. You know what I mean?
Mm. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So you don't have an answer yet.
I don't have an answer yet, but I want to do something that actually changes something or helps something, especially with the way the world looks like right now.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. If I gave you $100, what would you do?
Put it in my pocket. Thank you. I'd be like, what do you want for this? Yeah, I put it in my pocket. Thank you. And ask you what you wanted for it. I save. I'd add it to my savings. Thank you very much.
Yes. What if I told you you had to spend it on you?
Oh, spend it on me? Hmm. I'd probably put in an ad or something.
On you, like,
Oh, on me. I'm not
yes,
ad. Okay.
I
That's not bad.
know.
Petty.
A pedicure.
Maybe a pedicure or some groceries or something. Like some
Okay.
water, bottles of water.
Bottled water. So, how did you decide that it was time to hire your first person?
There was too many packages. I needed to hire the first person I hired was a packager so that I could keep up with emails and also model and do all those things.
Yeah,
It
because you
just
were the face.
got
You're still the face.
yeah, it was a lot and I couldn't like go do the packages, go to yeah, packager for sure.
It's because you couldn't do it. Like it was just like,
I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up with that. At first I hired someone to help me because I felt like, oh, you know, like us. And then after a while I was like, please, you
take
do
it
it.
over. Nice. If you had a magic wand, what would you fix in your business?
I don't know if this is the algorithm
Yes.
on the internet. I'll fix it.
Everyone wants that.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yes.
I'm still giving.
Yes. You're still doing it for the world.
Yeah.
Last three questions. Do you have a remedy you want to share with the world?
My mom, when she first started getting sick, she would do like olive oil cleanses to clear out. So that's my relationship with olive oil. She would drink it. It's
Wow.
disgusting. Yeah, it's really, really bad. But if you drink it, you're gonna
Get
clear.
cleansed out.
It's hard though.
For sure. I bet.
It's
I
really
bet
nasty.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
it literally like all the gunk. Okay. So for those of you who may want to get a nice
Good
solid
luck.
cleanse.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. Do you have a quote or mantra that you live by? So this one is probably hard because the book is full of affirmations.
Yeah. I picked one.
Yes.
This is my one. I can learn to do anything.
Ooh. Yay. I like that. And do you have a productivity tip, trick, or tool that you want to share with us?
I think saying it out loud to someone else so they can hold you accountable.
Accountability.
Yeah. Make sure you have that friend that's annoying that's like, oh, I thought you were going to do this, huh? What happened with that idea?
Right.
Tell that friend.
Yes. Everyone has one of those. If not, find one.
Yeah.
Because it is really helpful. I concur. Very last question. I know I said 3. How are you taking a restorative pause?
Restorative pause. What do you mean?
Something that restores you, resources you. But a pause. So it has to be not work.
I do it on my drives and I go on D&D.
Nice.
And I act like I'm on a podcast. I literally lie. And I say, I'm going to be on a podcast from 3 to 5. And I turn my phone off and I do it on my drives. And then when I'm ready to come back to the world, I'll come back.
I like that. Do you ever wonder like, oh, am I missing? Do you get FOMO from that?
Luckily, like I have like backup. So like if something happens with my dog, my boyfriend has it. If something happens with my mom, my sister. That's why I tell those people because I do have anxiety. I still check my phone during the D&D. I don't know why I do that. I'm like, just in case, just in case.
Yes.
So I'm not completely disconnected, but no one's expecting a response, which I like.
Nice. I do. I set my D&D because of my anxiety as well. I set my D&D for my family to get through.
I used to have that. Now
but it was still too much.
Well, because they're the ones calling. Hello, hello.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. Well, Ciera, thank you so much for coming to have a fun. We'd literally stay talking for a long time, but
yeah, this is awesome.
I know you're busy.
Yeah, this is
glad.
good. Yeah,
Yay.
this was easy. I liked it.
Yay. And everyone, get the book. The Outsider Advantage comes out June 18th. Of course, get it before. Pre-sales help authors all the time.
They do. I'm just learning. I didn't know that before. They affect your placement in the store. They affect how many books each store is going to order. A book will only order 1 book if your pre-orders are low. Yes. You have to like prove your
There's a proof of concept.
World. Yeah.
I know. So listeners listening before the book launch, definitely order your pre-sale because it does. I've interviewed hundreds of authors and a lot of them don't know this, which is wild to me. Why is your publisher not telling you this stuff?
I didn't know this because I'm a new author. Yeah, but it would have been nice to know. Yeah.
Because then your push for it would have been bigger in the front.
Also, my people, even my aunt is like, no, I don't want to pre-order. I want to get in the store. You know, they want to make it an event. You know, people just want to wait, I think is the problem. But pre-order, I appreciate if you wait too. You know what? It still counts.
It still counts.
I just want you to get the book.
Yes. Yes, get the book. Ideally pre-orders, I will say.
Yeah.
Ideally pre-orders. Because the other thing, one thing that I do personally, because I do like if I'm going to see an author and get a signed book, is like get the pre-order. It won't come on time. But gift the book. The pre-order book.
Yes.
So I gift that one or I do a giveaway or whatever.
Because I think like, oh, I don't want 2 books. You know what I mean?
You can always gift it. A book is a great
for
thing
sure.
to have. Yeah. I have like a couple of books in my bookshelf that when I need a gift, I'm like.
Or do the little book drop-offs. The ones that are on the, like they have them along the alley.
The free libraries.
Yeah. And then the other day, my sister, we passed by a homeless guy. And he was like, I want a book. He's like, I need something to read. But I don't even think about that.
Totally. See?
Yeah.
There's ways.
Yeah, there's ways.
Thank you so much for coming to Café con Pam.
Thank you.
Okay, this was awesome. All right, listeners, that was my conversation with Ciera. I really hope you resonated with this episode. Tell me what you loved and enjoyed. Of course, screenshot and tag us. Let us know what part of this episode was useful and helpful to you and your journey. I feel like, frankly, we had a lot more to talk about, but maybe we'll bring Ciera back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if she has time. She's very busy. Maybe one day after the book launch. But I want to, listeners, thank you for being here. If this is your first time, I hope you enjoy this show. Subscribe, follow, make sure you click all the buttons to stay connected because it also helps the show and the visibility of the show. If you want to leave some stars, that always helps. If you want to drop a thumbs up, if you're on the tube, if you are on a podcast listening app, dropping some stars, leaving comments also is very helpful. Of course, screenshot and tag us at Café con Pam Podcast on the socials. And let's stay connected, cafeconpam.com. That's where you can find all the episode notes for this specific episode and other episodes. All the links and all of the things, you can find them under cafeconpam.com/listen/363. You don't have to remember that. It will be there. Just go to cafeconpam.com and we'll be in touch. Thank you, listeners, so much for being here today. Y como siempre, stay shining. Sabrosura pa' ti que